Is it still alive? I hope it is. Goodness, I need a staff of people. Anyways, what am I doing? I love Avatar. I do. This one, of course, but I'm talking about this one, The Way of the Water, is coming out soon. Very excited about it. I watched the first film a lot. If you wanted to very quickly take a Google search with me, you will see that you are using your fingers. You can very quickly find out how much money it was given. Its budget. What is its budget? Does it have a budget? We're at the last Airbender. Okay, that's not right. Roll with me. Roll with me, roll with me. $250 million. Copy that. $250 million. That's a lot of money, considering that today I worked and made, I don't know, I think it was $34.07 or something per hour as a substitute teacher. I'm very selective. I try to go to the schools that pay me the best. Call me crazy. I have to pay rent and I want to work as little as possible because I have mental health issues. And I have identification with other states. How about I like to rest? I like to be comfortable and simple, preferably with a sexy man around and or, good healthy food. I'd like to be a guest there, in fact. People ask me, where do you want to be? Wherever the best deal is, honeys. That's where I want to be. Anyways, I love Avatar, and I'm excited to see The Way of Water. Tomorrow, I have my ticket. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to pull the chart of the moment. I want it to be as now as possible. So what essentially I'm going to do, my intention is this. I guess I can hit enter again. It's only going to change like very minutely within a few seconds, but I'm attempting to do a preview. So I understand that the art of astrology is an art form, and if I had just watched Avatar, like the first hour, that would have probably been better, so then it would have been so fresh in my mind and I could think about what it is that they're going to do. I don't know. Instead, I read a news article about the world premiere. But if this is about storytelling, then probably to be very familiar with the story. Well, I mean, I did watch it in theaters 7 times. So I actually think I have a pretty good idea about what the story is. I may not remember all the characters' specific names, but I'm very much in tune with the vibe of the story, and I feel connected with its methodology of like this ancient story, this ancient battle of kind of man versus nature, or nature and man and man. Like there's so many different ways we can talk about this, but astrology is a really fun way to talk about things, and it's as if there's a third entity there, which is a third system of inspiration that's literally non-human. I could ask James Cameron how the film's going to be. He's not going to tell me, and he's not going to talk to me probably. Maybe he will if he sees this, but I'm going to pretend that this is going to tell me what's going to happen in the movie. But at the same time, I've seen this first movie very many times, so my guess is sort of like using this as a way of bounding off. And I think that's what all astrology is. I think if you've been doing it for a long time, it can be a valuable service if you're interested in that sort of thing. Feel free to book me. But basically, what I want to do is I'm going to take a peek at this guy. Now, this is a Gemini rising moment. So the moment, though, is where I ask the question. So to answer this question of what the film is going to be about, you take the first moment and you go, okay, where's Mercury? Bam. Okay, here's Mercury in Capricorn. Interesting, in the 7th house. Really interesting, actually, because Mercury was approximately at this exact position when I was born, according to the ascendant. So it's pretty close to the descendant. It's still well within the 7th house, if you believe in this chart system, though some people use a different one. Some people would say that this Mercury is in the 8th house, and some would say it is in the... Some would say it's in the 7th. So the 7th house is significant partnerships, businesses, marriages, like contracts and shit like that. This one's associated with death, taxes, grief, perhaps, maybe, but that's also 12th house, I think, which is all of this. Okay, so before we start to say what we think is going to happen, I have to acclimate. Mars is an aggressive warrior type near the ascendant, so there's something very verbally, conversationally attacking about it. So I'm thinking, even how James Cameron tested positive for COVID, even how that is sort of just so pertinent to the idea of the film, because the film is so much more than just what happens in the film. It's what it represents. It's the story that it's trying to tell. I mean, this filmmaker is audacious. We don't have a great attention span as a populace, it seems, because of TikTok, right? Or is that true? Because this movie's going to be 3 hours and 12 minutes, and I bet if it's anything like the first one, it's going to be so interesting, so beautiful, blue and beautiful, so wow. I mean, it was so fucking impressive. It was so fucking impressive. I thought the animators did such a good job because I was with those beings. Of course, I'm with all the beings. I'm a vegetarian, for Christ's sake, so if it's alive, I'm like, okay, let me try not to shit on it. I mean, there are snakes. Snakes are really not I think, the friendliest of all creatures. You have to watch out for them. So I brand myself as the salvage of serpents because I'm protecting myself with the snake a little bit, I think. Oddly enough, it is associated with healing, but clearly just exploding out tons of ideas. Probably not traceable for many. But anyways, 3-hour-long films, that's something. That is something. So there's something martial about the words. There's some sort of warrior energy, and I think Sam Worthington's character in the first is a Worthington. So I'm getting identified with him, like this warrior energy is coming in, but they're all warriors. Natari, Natiri, I'm not sure. I'm still not totally sure on the pronunciation. I'm more into like the story as a whole. I mean, it's probably why sports are not the most compelling hero's journeys for me. I much prefer them to be connected to people's like real lives. I mean, sports is part of real life. It absolutely is. I'm not saying it's not. It's a profession. It's an entertainment industry. It's like the film industry. I'm trying to more or less rattle around an idea. And this Mars and Gemini can do it. And natally, I have Mars and Gemini, so there's an extra like meanness to this moment. This is my career. Talking, interacting, sharing ideas, sending messages, excreting, creating. And I have Mercury, its ruler, in the house of the death, occult, whatever. So there's this chatty, nervous sort of Gemini, huh? That is all over the map. Closing things, starting things, talking things, doing this, saying that. Gemini, I think, oftentimes gets called duplicitous because there's like a sort of wishy-washiness, like, and when I try to call a Gemini out on it, they're usually like, I don't receive that. I'm like, sorry. I said it. I meant it. I'm checking to make sure this is still live. I think it is. Okay. So, this sort of energy of me, the chart, thinking about Avatar, using another system to sort of swirl into that vortex. There's this really chatty, fiery, incisive language ruled over by Capricorn, which is in the lasted patterns of our society. Capricorn is representative of like what achievement means. So like being the Capricorn of basketball is probably like the NBA, like the people who are doing that specific thing according to those specific boundaries are really just it. Earth is like steady, right? And it's not as steady as perhaps Taurus, which is like you have to shit, you have to eat, you have to have sex in order for the species to continue. We're doing a very good job about that. Jesus. Ugh, I feel like, is there something wrong with my heart? I don't know. I need to be careful. But I guess I'm saying Jesus. I don't know. It's probably a trigger for me on some psychological level. Probably, hopefully for the best. I mean, I'm a missionary kid, so. Anyways, we're over here in the 8th house. Capricorn, so it's ruled over by Saturn and Aquarius. Good boundaries, though. If there's a good thing to kill, it's your castle in the clouds. Because Aquarius, castle in the cloud energy is real. It's the detriment of the sun. It's boundaries. It's boundaries, it's limits. It's sticking the fuck with it. It's like, this is the way it's done, this is how I'm going to do it, this is the correct way, I know the pattern and I can execute. Think of Aquarius as really powerful, really boundary enforcing, really intense. So that sort of like the limit, the message about the boundary. I'm getting the themes of like, this is the planet and we're trying to protect it and keep it safe, and then there's this sort of, machines, infrastructure trying to take resources, and it's like, well, can't Pandora share? Like, it's a very beautiful planet. Like, if these people really need this, what is the expense? Like, what's it look like back on Earth? Like, if this, we don't want to disrupt other people, but it's like, I want to know a little bit more about what's going on in other people's shit. Like, this, we kind of got a glimpse into the natural world, and they were pretty much like at a state of living in harmony with nature that they more or less didn't seem to fuck up the balance. Like, they weren't changing the climate probably with their behavior like humans are allegedly doing. Allegedly being like a almost too weak of a word, because there's just so much evidence that humans affect things. And if you go back to our like hunter-forager days, which probably began about 10,000 years ago, I don't know how different it would have been from being a Navi or being a human. Like, lots of parallels. Obviously, they've got tails and they, fly around on things. It's a little bit like dragon, Dinotopia, like flying on dragons. Like, I mean, it's kind of out there. Humans, though, we use fossil fuels, and what we do, it affects. I mean, right now we're in sort of a conflict period anyways, and it's in the death whole sign house. Why? Because Gemini is all over the place messages. Capricorn is like consistent, meticulous execution of a thing. Whew. I need to be more like that. I need to be like, do this, do this, do this. Keep doing it. It's my North Node. North Node is the head of the dragon is for me. Or maybe the head of the snake, if you will. It's kind of the snake-dragon kind of association, but that's where I'm supposed to go. So just like consistent excellence and execution and master. And it's just like, there's this resistance. Now Venus is over there, so there's this lover. So the lover, and the sun is right. Oh man, it is a bright message. It is a bright, big message ruled over by Jupiter in Pisces still. Shit. That's a nice sun. It's definitely, it's like, it's a this or that message. It's like something, this needs to balance. There needs to be give and take here from this give and take message. Mercury's far enough away from the sun. Venus is far enough away from the sun. It's nice because Mercury and Venus are probably visible, like maybe even now. I'm trying to decide if we can go see them. The problem is I lose connection if I go out here, but just go outside. I'm gonna go outside. Fuck this. This is more cool. It's still a bit bright, I think. I'm not sure if it'll work. Oh man, I should have worn headphones. Good thing nobody watches this shit. Well, maybe they do. If you're somebody who's watching this shit, thank you. I like being watched. There's this really, really good triangle here. And it's an Earth. Moon in Virgo. So, man, the details. This is really great. Mercury in Capricorn. The most optimal interpretation of this ruler is this. Wow, there is this messenger. There's this There's this message that needs to be sent to the ancestors. We need to embody the ancestors. We need to be like the ancestors. We need to learn from the ancestors. We need to serve the ancestors. We need to serve them. Serving your ancestors. And I think that can come out in the military aspect. It can come into career, society, different ways of service. Industrialized people serve in different ways, and shit, like I'm a substitute teacher, that's a form of it. But there's this sort of like serving the ancestors sort of energy, embodying the servant to the ancestors, like really displaying that back with what you have, with what little light you have, shine it back. And there's some. We're moving towards a new period, so we're moving into the service towards humanity light. So it's this warrior facing, communicating with love. The 7th house is partnership, but again, it could be the whole 8th side. So it's somewhere between love and partnerships, and talking about them in a way that's serious, about serious boundaries and serious expectations and serious like limitation. So there's this communication, warrior communication with lovers, partners. Death, transformation is right there, and it's powerful. And then the really a really big light from partnership. To me, it's about contracts and partnerships in a big, sharing ideas about those in a big way. That's a lot of energy. They're not exactly squaring. Let me get rid of the ascendant now that we see it. The MC is still in the 10th. Yeah. Let's do this. I don't want to see. I like using the lines only for actual objects in the sky. I don't like using the lines for abstract ideas. I know it's all abstract ideas. It's like apples and oranges, but for some reason that's my pattern. So I'm gonna get rid of the ascendant. The north node is also not a point, but I need to see where that is. So hold on. Let me see. I'll be right back there, Paige. The north node is, obviously it's nearly conjunct Uranus. Oh, but no, they're in different houses. The dragon for your friends, as opposed to revolutionary. Meaning very interesting. This is a tricky one. Uranus and Taurus, the slowest, most steady part of us, needing a revolution. That's like asking the mountain to move. It's interesting. Moving mountains. It's bringing me to religious sort of themes, and that's because Venus is in Capricorn. Man, there's this really good triangle. Man, this really cool form here. It's nice. It's very pretty. Very pretty. Okay, so let me get rid of the dragon. I was using that mouse. It's the same mouse. It's being cloned. Okay. So. We have these shapes to deal with. Getting rid of those. These are just actual objects in their literal mathematical relationship. And it's a really interesting way of doing it. So, ruled over by Mercury and Capricorn, ruled over by Saturn and Aquarius. Okay. Boundaries, death, but it also includes the 9th house of some sort of travel. Because that's 7th, 8th, 9th. Definitely going on a spiritual journey is a really strong player. Probably the journey of something about death and shamanism, maybe, like spirituality. I'm saying shamanism because shamanism. My podcast is called Shamanish, by the way. But anyways, this ninth house, society, philosophy, higher education, some sort of boundary is being raised, some sort of educational, God, spiritual boundary is definitely kind of at play and really a serious player. Power in the death house, power in the 8th house, regardless, by both standards. So there's this certainly transformation, power, death theme, this the most tiny things being blown up out of proportion is how I've heard them talked about, and then Jupiter's giving energy to that, so it's like this big escapey, watery, yeah, because it's a Pisces. Oh yeah, and of course this is near the midhaven. It's in the 10th house. Yeah. Regardless, it's in the 10th house. This is the oceans, the way of water. Are you fucking kidding me? Of course. It's just too perfect, honestly, and it's pulling the sun up. It's pulling up this love partnership energy, big time love partnership, big fucking time love to the oceans. It's just so perfect that it happened to be at this time when I pulled it, because it is so perfect, and honestly I feel blessed. I feel blessed for this particular arrangement of the stars at this moment to tell this story, but of course, the real ones are up there. I couldn't see them. I mean, I saw the sun, but I'm gonna go check periodically, probably after this, to see, man, I'm just going so fast. Oh my god! Who is animating me? That's that Gemini rising. Roll over by. Saturn in Capricorn. No, Mercury in Capricorn. Nearly conjunct Venus. Loving messages. Whew. Rule over by Saturn. The Sun and Saturn are sharing it's a really powerful message about boundaries. Really powerful. But not just about boundaries. Boundaries given the give and take of how they affect everyone. The boundaries are happening. The boundaries are happening. Maybe not as much as the necessary energy of embodying and serving and doing the thing that needs to be done in the particular moment in the small scale. That's very huge, whereas this is the big scale. Once you get up to Sagittarius and Pisces, for sure, they're just both Jupiter. I mean, Leo's big. Leo's kind of actually not. I mean, it's pulling in some sort of message, I guess. Some possessions. Well, yeah, maybe the 5th house is creativity, and it's getting lots of Libra beauty stuff coming from Capricorn. Kind of doing a lot of work. A lot of work and a lot of effort, of course, in the animation process, but also a lot of people being employed. $250 billion. I mean, that's actually like pulling people into a career, and it's storytelling. It's gotta be good. I mean, I really enjoy his work. I hope he has a speedy recovery. Chiron. Yeah, Chiron right there. Wounded healer energy, definitely. To me, this is representative of shamanish energy. It's in the 11th house. Friend with the wounded healer. A friendship with the wounded healer being part of the friends with the wounded healer, the one who's been hurt so can help you kind of an energy. It's interesting. I'm getting this image of like someone who has been paralyzed in some ways, like Sam Worthington was, because that's very critical, and I'm connecting him with Martian for sure because of his nature. Wounded healer, like being the friend warrior who has been wounded, who knows the pains and knows the boundaries around injuries and. It's interesting. Well, but wait, was he or? Yes, because his brother, the one who died, he's a twin too. Yeah. Fuck. This is definitely. I'm definitely getting Jake, right? I don't know. I'm thinking of my friend Jake. Friend, we don't really hang out, but we used to work together. He's nice, I think. Wounded healer energy, sextiling. Something about friends. That's what yeah, it's pretty. It's the house of grief. Something of grief. What is Sam Worthington's character grieving? Grieving the loss of a partner. The end of a partnership. or something. The children house is a bit bigger. Mars is well suited to control Scorpio. Ish. I mean, I wish it was closer. That's right, middle of the 12th. Oh, this is kind of gnarly. This is kind of sad. Death. Just in the ninth house. A trip for him, which results in the death. The ending of. No, because the ninth is not bad. And it's 7th, 8th, 9th. That's journey. I don't get. That's definitely far enough away. Death is actually in a far away. Death is on a journey. What did I say? See, that's why astrology I think is better, because you have a client there who you can start talking about life and problems, and you can just see what's landing, and you can see what casting the thing intuitively brings up to talk about, because it's just, to me, it just shakes the pot, stirs up the water, it just gets the mind and people thinking about their behavior, you're analyzing the person. It's just like it's a form of mental investigation. That's why I like calling myself a lifestyle engineer. I quite enjoy it, and I want to be the one to speak from my own limits. I'm just telling stories, I'm just trying things on. In some ways it feels much safer. Much safer. I think stories can help. Is this a good story? It's a fighting story, but this is such a beautiful, expansive signature. It'll break your heart, it's so beautiful. That's what I'm thinking, and there's real life partnerships and relationships and connections that make it possible. It's really interesting. Of course, Pisces is on display. 10th house, no matter what, both Jupiter and Pisces. Beautiful signature. I'm trying to partner with the world. I really am. As big of a conceptual of it as I can. I'm talking about myself now, but that moon in Virgo. My rising sign is Virgo. Wherever you are with your family and your ancestry, really just doing the best you can. Serving the body meticulously, performing rituals that help you. What do I need to do? Do I need to work out? I think there's part of me that's comforted in spilling out this stuff to the masses. The masses. But there's something so true about the experience I'm having and the ideas and the associations, and it's just... I don't know how other people respond to it. Some people might like it, some people may hate it. It's a gift. No one has to watch it, of course. I'm not forcing myself down. I'm just spewing into the abyss. The salve of serpents. Maybe writing, maybe moving, maybe dancing, maybe going to get food. I might go on a little wintry walk. I don't drive if I take mechanics, which I have, so. That's about to be gone, and if I find it again, then maybe the universe is really, giving me a signal, but I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. I like it. I don't buy things that, and I don't know, this may be like a giving away of my power, but my own capacity to decide for myself, so I have to really be careful. But there's this practice of not taking substances that are hallucinogenic or do things to your brain in some form, psychotropic or whatever the term is for these, depending on what system of terminology you're looking at it from. Is it a medicine? Is it a poison? Is it a drug? Is it a gift? Is it a curse? Is it good or bad? I mean, I should probably not be on it. I enjoy it, but I've decided for myself that I'm going to really, really investigate ways to. It does give me an energy, but I could be doing so many different things right now. Gemini energy, this guy's probably trying to do a lot of different things at once. But there are real boundaries, and he has to go on a trip. He has to help people with boundaries. He has to share it's a lofty thing. Sagittarius is lofty, and if it's in Pisces though, I mean it's at the very end of Pisces. Pretty much this is where the sun is when I was born. It's a bright, beautiful, deep thing, but it's so big that it's almost like whoa, like. One of the students today asked me, "Are humans like ants?" And God's just like, it's an interesting thing. I'm like, well, what do you mean by ants? We're not like ants because ants have like a hive mind. We have kind of like our own mind. They were all laughing at me. I don't know if it's my hair or if it's something I said. I mean, I don't mind. They were happy, and I'm not upset that kids are laughing. It makes me happy. Like, of course, whatever they're making fun of, I'm just sort of showing up in it, and like flirting back and trying to like just keep some sort of pleasant exchange going. It's the entertainment part. I just don't really get a chance to do it that much. But I want to be allowed to be myself and to share my ideas. I hope I didn't disturb that film too much. The idea that this is a film. I mean, it is. It requires a lot of energy. Imagine for the channel specifically. Why don't you get on that, Caleb? Because it's all you, boo. Okay. Well, cannabis probably just gives you too much energy. But it also makes you move your body in such amazing and unusual ways. It's like I'm giving myself an adjustment somehow. I have no idea. Neptune escapism, maybe. Just integrating, trying to figure out what I need to do, feeling my body. I'm 31. Yeah. Okay, so what do I want to discuss? What else do I want to say? What have I predicted? Not really anything. Because that's the thing, I'm a faithless astrologer and I don't know what's going to happen in the moon because I haven't freaking seen it. And I could literally be given a book about it. Everything, I could read the script, then I'd have a much better idea. I mean, someone created it. The best way to know would be like, hey James Cameron, will you watch this and will you be interested in hiring me and putting me in your film? Like, I mean, I would fucking love to have a chance to like be a part of storytelling. And yet, I was a background extra and it was just sort of like, I didn't really feel a part of it. I felt like a prop in it. I want to have a say. Maybe that's Jupiter Leo for me. Mutual reception with Sun in Pisces. This is a fun system. I really like thinking about myself and associating myself with the whole wheel. What are the predictions, Caleb? What are the predictions based off this chart in this system? Do I believe it? I don't know. Mars and Gemini. Combative warrior. Friend to the wounded. Has a little bit of a problem to deal with, and it's a tough one to deal with. It's about like long and steady practices of a society with real communicative realities of like the desire to connect with other people and to have conversations. There's like some sort of like there's some sort of contract, there's some sort of commitment that is needing to be examined because something needs to be stopped across the way. A journey must be undertaken, and it's a journey of boundaries and limits. It can also maybe be said to be constructive. So there's something that needs to be done, and that it involves a partner, and I'm worried that there is this powerful, small thing that's going to get blown way out of proportion. So this tiny thing, I don't know what it was, adamantium or something like that. I don't know why that's coming up, but to me, in the first film, they were after this specific resource, whatever it is, and that small thing is really being, like, to me it'd be like oil. Maybe that's what it is. There's some sort of death, ending, reality, taxes, finances, other people's resources thing that luckily is pretty much far removed from our partnership energy. But that's definitely coming back into play, I would predict, according to this chart. I don't actually know, it's a prediction. When I say definitely, it's like I'm using this chart, it's all made up. But it's based on my experiences of the film and the archetypes. It's a shared relationship. Now, I'm doing this so you can understand what the process is like. It's really interesting to use it with people. Remember, breathe, Caleb. Alright, so. Squaring, sextiling. This is just so beautiful. There's this big time lover, receiver, protector of everything. So wide. Neptune is just like making it even wider. Jupiter in Pisces is already ridiculous. And adding Jupiter is like just like one layer deeper. This is the ocean, hands down. And the ocean is wounded. There's a wounding, there's some sort of wound thing-ish. It's not something that's totally bad. It's not even in the 10th. And it's in the 11th, so it'll go well. I think this is going to be a movie that has some conflict. That's our character, our main characters are good. There's going to be a fight. Of course, it's a fight. There's a fight. A fight for your partners, your lovers. And it's the sun is in the 6th house, so it's a lot of work, a lot of optimism, a lot of sticking the fuck with it and keeping going and knowing that if you get too hung up with negativity that you may like not do anything, which is like, what the fuck? Like, why not do something with this? Like, I understand not wanting to harm people. I get it. I'm talking to myself now. It's like, but like, do something. Like, you have boundaries. You have limits. You have a sense of sort of the physical form, and it's just like all this paralysis inside of me. Just like, get to work trying something fun. Try. Like, sorry, I'm getting very inflated. That energy is like, because it is miraculous that it is even possible. It's just like, we've tried, like being on the side of what is here, being on the side of the universe, not trying to pull away from it, seeing it as something and trying to understand gratitude. I get it. Fuck, I just have this like deep thing about it. It's like, what is keeping me from being grateful? And it's like pain and suffering and holding on to those things and the realities and all the problems, and I can't let them go because they're like, maybe I can let them go. If I can, I just don't want to hurt anyone, and I don't want to be blind to everything but fuck around me. Ah. People eat other sentient creatures. I get it. Is that a good thing? Yeah. Do you want to be fucking eaten? Do you want to die? Do you want your life to end? Why, if so? Who am I talking to? Myself? You? Anyone? Like, why are we... It's this pressure to feel grateful. It's this pressure to do something, to be helpful. Like, I am crippled with angsty fighting. Like, crippled. But maybe this Uranus is just going in there and just trying to, like, fucking just... Get in there and just... It's past my Moon-Venus conjunction, so that revolutionary thing, it was just like, zip. Like, I wonder... I need to look back when I did my meditation retreat, because that's what's coming up now when I think about this Uranus transit. It's just like, the revolutionary just went zing right through the point where my Moon and Venus were. But anyways, I'm all kinds of animated, but there's something that feels good about this purgative chat thing, and I think I can do it without cannabis. Cannabis just helps make things more urgent. I don't know. I need to be balanced. I need to be balanced. I want to achieve, but I also want to feel not forced. Because when I feel forced, I feel stress and not really flowing. There's just this constant being good. So if I meditate daily, if it helps me not, like, well, it's because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm being very logical, but it's just like, just sort of waiting for a problem and then just trying to kill it as quickly as possible. Like, that's kind of my strategy. Where now it's like, okay, what do you want to try? Like, just because. Even if it doesn't change the world, even if it isn't successful, even if the movie is a flop, or even if COVID scares people away from the theater. I mean, people still tell stories. They still pay great deals of money to see them. You're about to. You're excited. You're doing this. It's something to do. It's something. Is it a film that is really good for the environment if there's a bunch of fucking, like, plastic fucking toys about it? I mean, shit, like, can these big corporations survive without doing things that are damaging? And honestly, is plastic that bad? Like, our life expectancy as humans seems to be better than it ever has been. I mean, a lot of people are depressed and maybe overweight and, like, have heart issues and stuff, and, like, maybe I have heart issues. I'm going to get my heart looked at. Also, because I don't know what the side effects of cannabis are. I don't know if it's helpful, if it's helping me, or if it's constructive. I'm trying to do the best, and I don't know what the best is. I don't know what the best is. But I'm trying to do the best. I'm really trying. I'm trying to do this, and I may be wrathful and annoyed, and maybe that's my own issues. I have Lilith and Sag, and my family ancestry origin. There's this anger, wrath thing there. It's true. I kind of don't understand why so many humans are born. Like, it's just, my experience of life is something that I'm like egoically separate. Like, there's this part of me that's just like, this is hell. This is fucking hell. Like, the wild angst of it, like the anxiety, like the violence, like, it's just hell. And establishing hell as a concept, something to avoid. Very serious. Like, I don't want to be in hell. Hell sounds pretty disastrous, but it also sounds impossible, because what would a lake of fire be like? I mean, to me, a lake of fire, that would be like some sort of acidy thing that melts off your skin, because obviously water doesn't burn. I mean, I don't think water burns. It'll just turn into something else. It could burn hydrogen. I guess is that what a hydrogen bomb is? Or literally, like, just fucking, like, I don't know. I know so little about chemistry. These are very separate things. Like, I've reached a boundary of my awareness of, like, what happens literally to water when it is heated up. But I don't understand how water could be burned. Like, water doesn't burn things. I guess it's H2O. So 2 hydrogens and an oxygen. So I guess if it's like, what can we do to, because we need oxygen, I guess, to burn something. But what are you burning? I mean, I need to look more into, like, engineering and fossil fuels and chemistry, and, like, really just trying to be like, wait, what's actually happening here? It may give me a better understanding, like, of the universe. I should probably just rent a biology book. I mean, I kind of did, but it's kind of, it's not the easiest way to learn that way. Like, I want to see it, I want to experience it. It's such a macro thing. We're going back to Virgo, spinning into ideas and associations, being a servant of details, learning, big time learning energy. I wish I wasn't judging myself. I want to love myself more. That was that video that I just posted on my Instagram. Oh, I need to love myself more. She's like, what do you mean? She's so smart. I really like her energy. She's playing an interesting character, but it's an interesting thing. I don't know if I felt like the call, or I heard her ringing bells, but yeah. Avatar: The Way of Water. The chart. Let's watch the trailer. I've watched it once. Did I watch it once or twice? Let's see. Oh, let's watch the final trailer. This is for people who...
I've been getting paid $1,000 a month, if not more, just from this app on my phone. And I don't know if you can see this, but
is
it's
this
called
bullshit?
Audible. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Right here, I have a check from Audible. This is for $1,100. This one's for $1,100 again. And then this one is $1,200. Every month, I am getting paid by Audible. For those of you that don't know what Audible is,
I'm
it's
hooked.
actually a child company of Amazon, which is one of the largest marketplaces in the world. So Audible is where people normally buy and sell audiobooks and podcasts. And the first time I learned about this was 3 years ago from Christian. So Christian would put up these audio files onto Audible, and just like that, he would get paid. So I saw this and I said I could do that. So then I started doing it, and then within a few months, I was able to quit my job and I started traveling the world with Christian. So I taught the same process to my mom, and now she's making about $900 a month. Then I decided to teach my little brother, who's in college right now, so that he can pay off the student loans. So the best part about this is that it is so beginner friendly. And I want to show you how easy it is. Obviously, this is an ad, so I can't really show you anything. But if you click the link below, you'll be able to attend a free training that Christian put together, and it goes over the exact same steps that he taught me, my mom,
If you were nice, you would not be gating the good thing for other people.
The way of water connects all things. Before your birth and after your death. A network of energy that flows through all living things. All energy is unlimited.
This is not my favorite.
And one day you have to give it back.
I need to watch the first one again.
I know you think I'm crazy.
Was that the
But I
case?
feel her. I hear her heartbeat. She's so close. What does Ava's heartbeat sound like? Mighty. Why do you come to us? The humans are returning. Come to us. This is not keep us any safe. You do not know the sea. You will learn your ways. If you want to live here, you have to ride. Let's do it. We must protect the people. This is our home. I need you with me. Alien, that's all they see. I see. This is our home. This is our family. Wherever we go, this family is our fortress.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think the shock of the first one being so beautiful and so new. I mean, I'm watching it in IMAX 3D, so I went for it. I went for the most like technologically like punchy one that was available. But sharing what astrology is, trying to go with what's trending. I mean, I think this is going to be trending. I mean, it's just so much work. Jesus. It is a valuable skill to think through things and compare things, and yes, you're so smart and had such a great education, and now you're trying to give it away and trying to do it in a way that doesn't fuck anyone else, but you have to live and blah blah blah. What a society. What a society. What is all this? The song's coming in from my childhood. Change your heart, oh God, make it ever true. I said change your heart, oh God, instead of change my heart. The lyrics are change my heart, oh God. Don't give me like a heart attack, please. That type of change would not be good. Make it ever true. I think I'm gonna make myself some pasta. Some pasta, because I like pasta. And I'm gonna maybe put on some music. And I guess I could still keep sharing that, but I might prefer to talk to myself. because then I don't have to be captive to this one place. I could put in headphones, but I'm not sure the iPhone would get them. This has already been 15 minutes. James Cameron's film is 3 hours and 12 minutes. So yes, I feel like I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna hydrate a lot tomorrow morning. I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna go to class. I'm gonna watch that film. And I'm gonna learn from artists and stories. And it is a 3-hour lecture. But I like conversations. I like connecting. So, with all of that said, love, light in the snake spot.